Hey you guys, welcome back. Today is April 12th and I hope everyone's doing really well. I know several of you out there has been asking me, how's my A90 build going? And I know I've remained kind of silent for the fact that I was going to keep everyone updated. So long story short, I'm getting really close. I am on my last tune, hopefully, from my tuner. And long story short, again, for those that's just joining the vlog here about the update on the Supra, I picked up the Supra back in December, and in 4 months I really transformed the car from a OEM stock numbers to now pushing high sixes. Let's not go exaggerating. Let's just say mid sixes in torques and maybe low sixes in horsepower. So the car is pretty quick overall. And what I would say to you is that it's pretty fun to drive, but at some point in time, for a car like this, because it's rear-wheel drive and the way it's set up, there could be too much power to the back, meaning that you're just not putting it down. So let me kind of walk through the adventure with you as far. So from the beginning, there's a list of items that I've done to the car. I have EOS rails kit. I have the Flex, the Reflex, which helps me with the E85. And then I have a charge pipe because I did ultimately put in a new turbo, pure 850. Again, Jimmy and the guys down there really appreciate your help because you guys got me that supercharger, not supercharger, the turbo as quick as you could, even at that time. I know there's a shortage in turbos per se. And then a modification with regards to exhaust. I didn't go buy a off-the-shelf exhaust. I did take it to the muffler shop and create my own Frankenstein. It works, it sounds pretty cool. Not everyone's gonna love it. Everyone has different ears, whatever. So from there, and also did the cold air intake. So with the host of items that I have from an engine mod or bolt-on perspective, you need a controller to control the ECU, right? So I went through 3 iterations. What I did was I started with the JB4, then I went with the MHD, and now finally I'm with Ecutech, and I had to find a tuner to help me do that. And majority of the work, the bolt-in engine work, was performed at RSR Studios. Go look those guys up. They're pretty good guys. I say pretty good because we had a scheduling conflict, but they got everything done and the work and the quality was really good. Then I went with a third party with regards to getting the tune down. And this is where I'm going to say to you that, look, I have modified cars for multiple decades. All the way back from Civics, Acuras, and all the way up to GTRs. And then I worked with some individuals with the Lambos, a host of it over the decades. I've done majority of the platforms out there. But what I would say to you right now is that this A90 platform, make sure you set your expectations and find individuals that will really suit your schedule and really satisfy your expectation. I'm a person that I am type A personality. I like my things now. If I pay for it and whatever else, I need to get it done ASAP, and that's part of my fault. But on the same token, I think that over time, as I go through this vlog and explain to you guys the situation out there, I think you kind of have some understanding. And some of you right off the bat going, "Oh, this is Ken," or the male version of Karen. There's a difference. There is a huge difference between a Ken versus a pay customer that requests just satisfy the services that's at hand. Here's the episode. So my task, as I stated, it was started in December, and then I started out my tune around January, and we went back and forth a little bit, trying to get some colors or details around what's this tune going to be like? What can it do? What do I need? What parts do I need? And along the way, I worked with a representative over in RSR to really align with the car parts I needed to satisfy the expectation that I have with regards to the power output from the car. So with that being said, the conversation started around January. Okay, let's just say January. And on my side, because even though I had a September 2019 ECU, it still needed to be unlocked because for whatever reason it was locked. So no, I didn't have to send it to Russia, but what I had to do was send it back to the East Coast for my tuner to go get it unlocked. So that was step number one. There was a little bit of mix up there, but the tuner was really gracious in sending it back and forth with regards to Federal Express it, but it still took some time. That's normal, and along the way, the team over there, they had to take their vacation, which I respect. Do your thing. But that created a misalignment with my scheduling with Studio RSR that was trying to install all the bolt-on parts. Okay, move on. Parts are on, ECU's back, now we're in late February. Okay, well, almost late February, the third week of February, I think it was. So we went back and forth, and finally we got that bass tuned down because all the parts are on, the bass tuned in now. And right off the bat, really aggressive. They're the expert. The tune was a little bit too aggressive for my car, meaning that my transmission would not hold the power that I was trying to put down. And right away, extremely responsive. Really right away, they came back with a new iteration because it could damage the car, and that's the last thing this tuner wanted to do. Really appreciate it. So along there, we went through, I think, one more iteration and got the tune back down, and it ran pretty well. Now, with all that being said, the tune did not have its pops and bangs like the MHD did, or even back when I had the JB4. It was weird. But from what I understand, this tuner did not want to turn on the burbles or the sound, or at least a lot of his customer doesn't request it until the very end. So, okay, I can respect that. So, we're iteration 2 basically. So there were some events that was going on in the drag racing world. As you guys all know, the Texas 2K, which is an event that's really a promotion or something that they personally strive for. Stupid Siri, right? Which they personally strive for in their own achievements in their world of tuning, that they want to do it to their own cars. So they participate in the Texas 2K events. And that took some time out of the, created a gap. I respected that time. And yes, I did reach out by email and text. Was not as consistent once I understood the event that was occurring and that was interrupting the schedule. Okay, whatever. That went on. So another week, I would say 2.5 weeks went by at this point. And finally got another iteration of the tune. Iteration 3, it was okay, but still no burble. But burble was supposed to be there, so then iteration 4 came by, which was about, now at this juncture, it was it's at least 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago. And respecting their own personal schedules, because they have lives too. I understand that. And now we're on to iteration 4, which I got again about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, which again through a code, meaning that the tune was great, very linear power, car drove great, and you can watch my other vlogs as I went through what I experienced in real life driving experience. But still, on that iteration 4, on that late evening, as I received the tune, it made the car slip with regards to too much power. The transmission didn't like it. It went into limp mode right away. My consultant that was helping me right away gave me my other tune back, which ultimately created iteration 5 now that we're on. Iteration 5, again, 4.5 was about, again, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It's the same tune, but supposedly no sound. But out of all 5 iterations, no sound whatsoever. The reasoning behind it, again, like what I said during the beginning, is they believe that majority of the clients didn't even want the burble, didn't want the sound. I was the one up front say that I want the sound and make it loud as obnoxious as you want it to. So all that has been happening. So here we are today. I did reach out by a couple emails because their schedule, they have a certain schedule when they release their tunes through emails and so forth. And today was one of those days that they will release. And I really wanted to try to, set expectations and go, hey, I really want to get this done. I just want to get it over with, to be honest. And also to be completely transparent, there are a couple buyers out there that go, hey, Larry, you want to sell me your car? They always purchase the cars that I have owned in the past, might that be the NSX or the GTR or whatever I owned in the past. I named those two cars because this is much more of a Japanese car world, and this is basically the third Japanese halo car that I've owned. That's why I mentioned it. But at the end, they like the cars that I put together, and they tune and they buy it, and they continue promoting it onto the platform. But anyways, I have iteration 6 today, but I haven't been able to load it on because along with all this communication also, I still don't have my USB key or my dongle from Ecutech. Now, that's another story. Because of the consultant that I went through, there's been some mixed up and wherever else. In reality, I should have had this kit from basically day one, right? But I don't. But it's en route. It is en route, and I have the tracking number. It's just somewhere out there right now. It's coming to California. All that's been going through. So needless to say, there are now exchanges of emails and texts that's been going on. I'm gonna be very upfront and say this. I really appreciate everyone's effort because yes, our primary goal in life is not about this. That's for sure. It's about our friends and families and loved ones, especially in the world today and the pandemic that we went through. That is the primary thing. Second, then maybe your job, right? Your job, other than your family, loved ones, then your job. So here I am in this particular situation. I am a paying customer at the end of the day, and it is your job to deliver. And with the amount of time that went through and the amount of communication, some might interpret it as like bothering them about the emails. From a consumer side, I felt like I was begging for something that I paid for. And forget the dollar amount, forget the monetary value that was exchanged. I feel like from a consumer point of view, I'm begging for something that I should have within a more reasonable time. That's how I felt. Again, I'm not mentioning the tuner. I'm not mentioning the consultant, but this is where I'm at, and this is where it goes back in the food loop that I'm gonna say to you guys out there that are thinking about modifying your A90 platform. This is my experience only. Not saying anybody else's. Find a network of supporters that you're comfortable with. I went out into the wild. I got the recommendation from another shop. Availability. I lined it up, and I thought it was all going to be really smooth and easy. I'm gonna tell you, this project has been far from smooth and far from easy. The amount of follow-ups I had to perform. You might say, "Hey, you're Ken, man. You think you're just..." Look, man. Here's the thing. The monetary exchange, the value that was supplied back in late January, and here I am still expecting a final product or good enough iteration. We can go tomatoes. Sounds is not a big deal. The dependence of your car is the primary goal here. I get that, I do. But when your customer stated that from day one, that one of the key criteria is the fact that the sound and the whole package is what is necessary for me to have a satisfying experience. That's to be expected. I know I sound aggressive from that perspective, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I do appreciate all the efforts. Hopefully no bad feelings. But I'm going to share it with my audience that what was my experience with this platform tuning with the A90, and it just wasn't fun. It hasn't been fun because I feel like I'm begging, and and some might say, you shouldn't have cut corners. You should just went to the shop, stayed with the shop, and went with them. Period. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Right? Lesson learned here. But at the end of the day, the experience with putting this car together as far was, I would say, if you're a 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it a 4, because I was excited about all the possibilities and all the things that could be done to the car. But when it comes down to it, but the interaction with the current network that I got myself involved in, it just was less than a positive experience for me. And it's the worst when you go, man, am I going to lose money on this? Am I going to lose, money's a part of it, right? Not, I don't have an endless budget. I do have a budget, but, I would say that I didn't have a good experience for the fact that I felt like, hey, at some point in time, I might have to take a loss and just move on. And that's the part, that's the worst part about the whole thing for me. It's about the monetary part. Yes, at this point, hopefully, when I load this map on later on this evening, or if my consultant comes over, or I meet up with my consultant, that they might be able to help me load it on, because I don't have my Ecutech kit yet. So hopefully, once that tune gets on the car, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy the power delivery. I can really bring back some real life experience about the tune, the sounds, and the whole 9 yards. But right now, I just can't. And while I'm trying to finish up this project, or at least bring it to a steady state, I'm for sure right now, I'm going to pause. Even if the sales transaction go through, then I'm out of this platform. I have to go look for another platform to find something that I can play with. But right now, on the A90 platform, with this B58 engine, I'm going to pause for now. I know I'm going to say for now, because who knows? Because the next step that's needed, and the tuner and my consultant and RSR both said it from up front, Larry, you're going to need a new tranny at the things that you want out of the car. You're going to need new transmission, because the tranny is the Achilles heel, just like the GTR was along this power, and torque type of deal. It's at like 650, and that's something I have to think about, because on the GTR, I had all wheels to put the power down. With the Supra, I don't. I have the rear-wheel drive putting it down. And right now, in reality, even at like 400, I stated from the past that it wasn't really putting the power down. I got wider tires already, as recommended. I got wider tires, but I didn't get the drag tires, per se, for the street driving. I do have Michelins on them. You can love or hate Michelin, call it what you want. It is what it is right now. They should be sticky enough, but they're not. It's not putting the power down, meaning that putting all the power down, and it's still it's really starting to spin. So, do I want more power? I don't know yet. It's going to be up for debate of do I want more power or not. That's just kind of where I'm at and where I'm with the program. Do comment. I appreciate it. Call me whatever you want. It is what it is. That's why I post these things. But this is a real life, transparent type of experience I've had. The car is running very solid right now. So from that perspective, it's a very reliable daily if you want to be. And it's not a daily for me. This is not my daily. My daily is a Tesla. It's the Model X. That's my day in and day out car. I can care less if this thing goes cripple. So I'm one of the fortunate ones where I'm not dependent on this car. But from a modification enjoyment experience wise, it just hasn't been fun, and that throws a negative wrench in the whole venture as far. Like I said, comment. I don't want to keep blabbling. I know this has been a long vlog. I promised going to be walkthroughs and whatever else. I had to get this part settled down before I can start showing you what for say my current final stage of output is right now. And my screensaver went dead. But anyways, that's just kind of where I'm at right now. Till the next time. do stay healthy, because there's crazy stuff going on out there. And please do subscribe, because there are positive content. This is, while this is somewhat positive, is also has some, you know, I'm not gonna lie, there's some negative connotation to it. And again, hopefully I'm gonna rewatch this video, rewatch this vlog, and make sure there's no name mentioned. If there was, I'm gonna bleep it out, because there's not. I'm not here to throw a vendor under the bus. I'm just here to share my experience of what Larry Lee went through with the build of A90. Till then, stay safe, guys. All right, peace out.